As you all know, I always loved SMT at a distance. Now that I have 1,000 subscribers, that's 1,000 reasons to finally play SMT for the first time. Sadly, I don't think I can do that without a guide. Luckily, Judy Ramsuk came through with an amazing resource to teach me all I need to know. So I stumbled upon this book a few years ago, paid for it and forgot. But now that I have 1,000 subscribers, I can afford to spend my time reading this book for you all. This book is 4 pages long and only 99 cents. That's less than a quarter per page. The cover features its title, How to Play a Shin Megami Tensei RPG, with a wonderful background image showing the intended audience exactly what to expect. Odd color foliage. Because when I play SMT RPG, I think of leaves. It starts off really simply, with Judy listing her pedigree. We need to feel comfort knowing that she's a big gamer, with a lot of knowledge and insight that can be summarized in 4 pages. She says, I've been playing video games for a long time. Since the early 90s until the present, I have played Nintendo DS, the Nintendo 3DS, even some on the Sony PS2 RPG video games to have a favorite genre. That genre is the sometimes long, time-consuming, brain-twisting, complicated, fun, exciting, interesting, and deep RPG one. Until I discovered a Shin Megami Tensei, or SMT RPG. I thought that most RPG video games were alike. So it's kind of clear to see that there's a little bit of odd writing. I take this to mean that maybe English isn't her first language, or maybe she just kind of formatted it a bit unusual. She goes on to say, for example, I have and had been playing lots of Final Fantasy RPGs before I sunk my heart, mind, and fingers into a Shin Megami Tensei one. I had so much fun playing Nintendo 3DS's Devil Survivor Overclock that I regretted not playing it before. In fact, SMT RPGs tend to be so complex and deep that I thought I would take the time to write a how-to manual for any newcomer to the series or for anyone who enjoys games in the Shin Megami Tensei series. So this is the noblest of intentions, essentially. And yeah, she calls this a manual for newcomers to the series or for anybody who enjoys Shin Megami Tensei series games. As someone who enjoys Shin Megami Tensei series, I really hope that I can get some insight that I have not previously gotten before. The first section is titled Your Helpers. In a Final Fantasy RPG, your allies are human characters you encounter at certain points in the game. In a Shin Megami Tensei RPG, your allies are demons you recruit while communicating with them in battle. So, so reading this gave me pause because she definitely says that all the Final Fantasy playable characters are human. I guess Vivi, Kate Sith, Kamari, Red 13, etc., etc. You guys are all human. Everyone's human in Final Fantasy world. So she goes on to say, depending on how you respond to the demon queries or comments, they might join you right away or at a later time. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know that during a conversation, I might be able to get someone to join me. But what do I say? If Jack Frost asks for Maka, what do I do? Well, maybe this next section will go into detail. The next section is called You Need Them. One thing I have noticed in Shin Megami Tensei RPG is that if you go into battle without recruiting any demons to assist you, you will see the game over screen more times than you like. That's something I actually haven't considered. How many times would I like to see the game over screen? She goes on to say, so I recruit whenever possible. Okay, but what do I say, Judy? You haven't elaborated on the social skills I need to get demons. Next, she says, They are equipped with useful abilities and skills such as Dia, Media, Recarm. Dia and Media are healing skills, and Recarm will revive a fallen ally. Thank you. In addition, they also have fighting skills and abilities. Skills and abilities that can scorch or freeze an enemy. Those are the only two options. You can scorch or you can freeze. No in between. No lightning, no wind, no psychic, no anything. Scorch or freeze, okay? Those skills are known as Agi, Agidine, Bufu, and Bufudine. So, Agilao, Mabufu, Cold World, none of those exist. Agi, Agidine, Bufu, and Bufudine. I really love the simplistic battle mechanics SMT seems to have. All I need to know is how to scorch and freeze demons and to heal and revive. This is way more user-friendly than Pokemon and all its complicated moves. What does Tail Whip do? Next section is Fusion. As you advance or progress in a Shin Megami Tensei RPG, there will come a time when you, the gamer, the little gamer because the font shrinks. Where is this gamer? So there will become a time when you, the little baby gamer, you're just a little baby. We'll learn about fusing. First of all, why am I a little gamer? I'm not a little person. Second of all, isn't the time I learned about fusing called the tutorial? Like, I think the first 10 minutes of playing a Megami Tensei game should suffice to give you that whole fusion mechanic breakdown. But thank you. As a long-time SMT fan, you forget these kind of things every once in a while. You know, you're just playing Strange Journey, you're like, how do I get a new demon? You just don't know how to fuse, so you just gotta be reminded. Sometimes you just need to know. Okay. Next she says, every time you defeat one boss, the other is going to be stronger. So level up your heroes, demons, and fuse 2, 3, or 4 demons to make stronger allies. Yes. I mean, nothing she says this time is like mockable, I guess. It's all pretty solid advice. Eventually the game should get harder unless you're playing Persona 5. Am I right? Oh no. Alright, okay, the final section. The final section is simply called Decide Wisely. The same way you communicate with demons in a Shin Megami Tensei RPG is the same way you converse with in-game characters. What? So think carefully when you have reached a point such as this in any Shin Megami Tensei RPG. I don't think the way you talk to characters in SMT RPGs are totally similar, but I get what you're saying. This is a weird way of addressing the concept of alignments and multiple endings without actually saying it. And the book ends, so when you sit down to become engaged, sit down to become engaged, it's like a SMT rocket ship. Bring a large dose of patience, clear your calendar, and get ready to have some video gaming fun! Shin Megami Tensei style. So, I counted how many times she says the phrase RPG. She says it 11 times in this 4-page book. I initially was flabbergasted that it existed, you know, like it's just bizarre that someone would make a book that's 4 pages long, says RPG 11 times, and basically walks you through the tutorial of basically any Shin Megami Tensei game. But at the same time, it makes sense, right? Because everything she mentions is more or less true. This game isn't like Final Fantasy. This game does have skills that scorch and freeze. And there's like there's some truth that you have to really pay attention to what you're saying to characters, because in most Shin Megami Tensei RPGs, it has a profound effect on how the game will end, right? So this is all pretty good stuff. Maybe it is worth the dollar. The author who wrote this has written a total of 15 books as of February 2020. All of her books are about 4 to 10 pages long. I found her Twitter and YouTube channel, and she seems to just be a really big diehard Megaten fan, which is great. She's older and into Megaten, but she has the extra added caveat of not letting her diehard love of Megaten define who she is. And it's just a smaller part of the bigger picture of who she is, and I kind of respect that a lot, actually. It takes a lot to kind of make sure that your hobbies aren't your defining characters. So to be called the Megaten guy is a double-edged sword in that instance, I guess, because come on, like if I only obsessed about Megaten, that would kind of make me a boring person, I think. While looking at her social media, she didn't really make that much money from the books, citing she made a total of $8.47 in 2019. While my earliest memory of this book was laughing at how ridiculous it is in concept, it's also hard to remember sometimes the people that write books, even if we don't necessarily agree with the point of the book existing, they're still human. Judy seems to be quite the humanitarian and has written plenty of pretty insightful things elsewhere on her blogs and websites, and she even got published, I forget where, but I think that's pretty interesting. Sorry for it to go rather preachy at the end. But thank you all for the 1,000 subscribers, and see you all in the next subscriber special. Maybe it won't be so mean-spirited as this one. Oh yeah, this was a subscriber special. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. I really appreciate all of you for subscribing, because it's just crazy to me. I can't fathom that people want to hear my podcast with my friends, or hear me rant and rave about why someone's wrong, or this information is interesting. Like, I know that my Kuzunoa videos aren't like the most popular things, but it's crazy to me that there's even 100 people that are interested in hearing me tell you this dumb hours and hours worth of research distilled into like a 5 to 10 minute video, just to explain to you how the Kuzunoas of Megaten have like a weirdly well-grounded historical and mystical foundation that's rooted in like Japanese mythos, you know? Okay, I know I spread myself thin with cosplay, trivia, art, and all this other stuff, but I hope you guys enjoy most, or if you're really brave, all of it. Goodbye, fellow Megatenists.